Welcome to the NFL postgame. Pittsburgh Steelers at Cleveland Browns with Coach Coyote. Standing up behind the microphone is the coach, Coach Coyote. Alrighty, Coach. I kind of said, hey, let's do a postgame on a Friday afternoon when I'm like, Coach, I was tired, and Coach goes, yeah, I understand you were tired, and I didn't feel like doing a post game after the game we watched. Surprisingly, I didn't fall asleep. Not due to the game. The game was very interesting and exciting, but I just was exhausted, and I didn't. And I didn't. So I didn't have. The weird thing is, I didn't get to sleep till like 3 in the morning, which is kind of odd. When I woke up and went out, did out and about things, and then I said, yeah, I still want to do my post game. I wrote a script anyways, and well, here's the script now, and well, I'll start with the script, and the tablet's acting up. No, not the tablet. The Supernote app on the tablet is acting up on me. Kept cutting out on me. I had to redo. Okay, it just says that from today, the Note app will be named Fly Note. Okay, I got it. Fly Note. Fly Note. And it's right there, Fly Note. I don't even. I had Supernote. I didn't have a problem with Supernote. I don't know. It said to update the note, Coach, and I'm like, okay, I'll update it because I don't want to lose any features on the Supernote. And then I haven't. Then it says, okay, your note has been updated, and hit reload. I've been avoiding hitting reload for a couple of days now, and didn't know why. I just go, nah, I don't need to reload it. I thought shutting it off and turning it back on would reload it. So I reloaded it, and then I got that message where, oh, your super note is now called Fly Note, which I'm gonna close it for a second, Coach. Hey, let's see what happens. No, it just says note on there. They used to, yeah, that one, Fly Note. There it is, Fly Note. Okay, it used to say Super Note. Now it says Fly Note on the app. Okay, whatever. You get advertising. I'm fine with it. That's why I have to make sure the volume is down because the advertising can come up all of a sudden. I like I'll admit it. The note has been very a valuable tool for the sports news review. Okay, so I'll read the script, Coach, and okay, so it was like I'll start with, well, Coach, the game was interesting, but it was only due to the local Cleveland weather, lake effect snowfall that kept the score close. Yeah, it was. I'll go off the script on that. Is it? Yeah, it was kind of weird, Coach. Like at first the game, you seen the green field. We all seen the green field, and I didn't think anything of it. Okay, and then all of a sudden, the field starts turning white with the snow, and then when they're doing like those like a view like from the like from overhead, like overhead view, and not up close, and the field looks like the TV screen. It looks like, I'm sorry, I should say the TV screen with the white field, and they shoveled the lines out to make so they could see the lines, the line markers, the 5 yard markers and the numbers. And Coach, it looked like something like you would adjust on a video game, like playing, say, a football video game, and you'd say, I want a white field, like you or you know what I mean? Something. It looked hilarious because the snow was of perfect texture. It was like the fluff, I guess, the fluffy snow, as you call it, the nice big crystals, and it's snow crystals, and yeah, it's just, well, and then I said to the coach, I said, well, then I says, okay, and I mean, I didn't think it was going to, the score was going to be close because of the weather, weather played a factor in keeping that game close because that game shouldn't have not been close as it should. I mean, now we'll get into that, Coach. Coach knows it. We discussed it earlier. Okay, so now I put down that the Cleveland Browns. Well, they played like a team who still believes in their coach. Coach, this is why I wanted to do the post game show because I wanted to address the host. I'll put the mouse over here. Okay, I just wanted to address the whole thing, the issue of yesterday when I did the pregame show, and I was just wondering, are they even going to play the Cleveland Browns? Are they? And I don't, like I said, I don't think it was anything to do with rivalry and Pittsburgh, versus Pittsburgh and winning. I really feel that the Cleveland Browns really are like, strangest things that can happen. We can. Okay, well, what are the chances of the? Okay, let's go off script for a second, Coach. And we are, like I said, we're a post game show, and we don't have to follow the script to the. Totally follow the script. Okay, so it's well, yeah, we know the chances of them make the playoffs, the postseason, is so slim. It's do I even need to? Should I even get into the Coach? It's like it's no, there's no double digit percentage at the moment. I don't think it's a. I don't. I don't think there's any. There's no way there's any double digit percentage that they could 10% and above that the Cleveland Browns could make the postseason. I think it's less than 10%. So they got all these. Okay, so I'm looking. It's NFL.com webpage, and I'm looking at it, and it's like the AFC that clinched the playoff spot. Now that's why that they're mathematically still in it. Is only. It's not so much Cleveland's win-loss record. It's the other teams have not. Due to the amount of games left, now Cleveland will be 6 games left, being 3-8, and Pittsburgh being 8-3 on the season, and so the mathematics is there where they can be a 9 and 8 season. I'm not thinking of it now going, they gotta win every game. That's pretty well, now, as soon as the teams start quote unquote in the hunt, let's look at that again. Yeah. Okay, so Kansas City Chiefs 9-1. So, as soon as the Kansas City Chiefs if they get their win on the weekend, if the Kansas City Chiefs win, which they probably expect to win on the game on Sunday, is it Carolina, if I remember correctly? So 10-1, that would pretty well. There's no matter what. Okay, so that means that there's no chance that mathematically, we're not talking realistic here. We're not talking math. I'm not saying that to you, Coach. I'm saying it to the viewing audience that I don't have. That mathematically, the Cleveland Browns cannot win first overall in the AFC division. Okay, now and then it's 9-2 Buffalo. Now, once again, Buffalo, if they win when they come back from the this week from the break, the bye week as they call it, if they win the 10-2, so there's no chance of catching the Bills. So as soon as the Chiefs, they're tying at least, tying the Bills, or whatever. So there's zero chance of catching the Chiefs. Like as in to be ahead of the Chiefs. That's if Kansas City lost every game going forward, and Buffalo Bills lost every game forward, they still have a chance. That's mathematically, folks. Mathematically, not realistically. Okay, so now the all important thing is that they're on the AFC. They're in the AFC North. Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-3. Now, huge win for the Cleveland Browns, because Pittsburgh being 8-3. Now, if Pittsburgh would have won that game, they would have been 9-3, which would have been 12, which leaves only 5 games left. And then Cleveland would have been 4. 4 and 4. Yeah, so it'd be 4-8. Let's see, 8-3. No, they would have been Cleveland. Let's see. It's funny that they're still involved. Yeah, 3-8, which is 11, and they still been at 6 games, but. Because they would have lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they would have no chance of winning the AFC North. Just even if Pittsburgh lost every game after that, did they play them again? But either way, they lost. If they played each other earlier and Pittsburgh won, that's 100% guaranteed. It doesn't matter that there's no way they could go ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers. In that front. Okay, now the Texans, it don't matter, because the Texans are in AFC South, and with the Texans, that's the Houston Texans. They're in a position now that they pretty well got to win their division, like AFC South. Because their record's not gonna, at 7-4. Yeah, they're not gonna be like, it's pretty well. And there's nothing. Even if they have a better record than, say, the Houston Texans, it don't matter. That it's just the quirkiness of the divisional system. That the Houston Texans would make the postseason, even though they have a worse record than the say if Cleveland won outright, like they won all their games outright, and that's just that happens, and they don't get it. So yeah, they don't. Well, yeah. So like in this, mathematically, it's just one of those deals where, the Cleveland Browns could still win the AFC North somehow. It's pretty well just okay. Oh, they have their. Oh, okay. Okay, so they have the percentages. Oh, they have the percentages, and they're still. Okay, so, they do have some percentages. Okay, so are they on the bubble? Okay, well, let's start with what they called in the hunt. Okay, the Chiefs for number 1, Buffalo Bills at number 2. That's winning the AFC East. Pittsburgh Steelers winning the as it is right at this moment. Pittsburgh Steelers number 3, winning the AFC North, and the Houston Texans winning the AFC South. Now, your wild card teams would be the Los Angeles Chargers at 7-3, your Baltimore Ravens at 7-4, and Denver Broncos at 6-5. Now, on the bubble, you got the Baltimore Colts, and they have them. They don't have. I thought they had it listed what the chances are. I thought it was. I wonder why if they're not. I don't know why they don't list their chances. But Cincinnati Bengals is on the bubble. Well, pretty well the whole division's on the bubble. It doesn't even. Oh wait, maybe. Oh wait, maybe the 2-9 was 11. Oh, they're in a bye week. Oh, okay. Well, they got listed that the Patriots have a less than 1% chance of getting into the postseason, and the New York Jets have a less than 1%. You know, there is a chance for the New York Jets to get into postseason, and it is with all the struggles that the New York Jets are having, they could technically, mathematically, still win the division if Buffalo is a complete, and I mean complete meltdown, where they come back from a bye week at, they start at, they're at 9-2, okay, and they lose their next 6 games. So they make it a 9-8 season. Okay, no, 9-8 season. And we'll look at that again, where you got your Jets 3-8, 9-8. I mean, it's a matter of time because they both, each team that, so if the, because the Bills already won against the Jets, and in this case scenario, did they play the Bills again? I'm pretty sure. I don't think they played Buffalo twice so far. So the Jets, there would be time. In this mathematical situation, that the Jets somehow they could still win. It's just the way it goes. Now, and we get Cleveland. They have a, well, I think it looks like a 2% chance, and the arrow's going up, meaning, with that win, they still have a chance. Let's see, so week 12 win. They won against week 12, and okay, so the 3. Okay, so. And then it says that eliminated these teams. So no teams in the AFC have been eliminated from the postseason. But next week, let's see. Maybe at this week too, there's could be possibilities. It's just a matter of. Well, I'll get to that in a second. Maybe I should go back to the script because we get into that one where it's. Okay, I'll mention that again. Okay. Yeah, they said, okay, I'll start with the script again. With Cleveland Browns, they played like a team who still believes in their coach. And I get to the sidebars, like he didn't embarrass the team. He didn't call out the team. He didn't tell them that we're going to need to do some basic fundamentals. I like saying that word in a funny voice, like fundamentals. And that's the biggest difference between the New York Jets and what happened there. Like this, if their interim coach would have just been more like Coach Stefanowski, where just if they would have had a better shot, they would have actually been in better position than the Cleveland Browns. But that's the way it goes. Okay. Well, I said that Coach Stefanowski has the cliche not losing the locker room. So he didn't lose the locker room. And despite only being 2 wins and 8 losses, which now is going to be 3 wins and 8 losses. So then the win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, yeah, made them 3-8 on the season. And I'm going to say, I wrote this in the script too. He said, kudos to the Cleveland Brown fans. Despite the weather turning the green field into a white field, the vast majority of fans stayed to finish watching the game. Oh, it's like like you didn't see. With that many people, can you guarantee that 100% that came at the start of the game stayed to the end? That's a lot of people. We don't. There's various reasons why people have to leave. Like something coming up, whatever various reasons. Some people are the type that, like, no matter what, they're like they love a close game like that. They're the ones that love leaving 2 minutes left into the game, so they could run to the vehicle they're in, and the highway is clear, like completely clear for them. I did that for the like, I understand completely. I went to the 2000, sorry, the start of the 2000 season, September, first game of the season for the Buffalo Bills. I went to the quote unquote what they called the revenge game, which, man, what revenge are you really getting? You just winning the first game of the season. But the quirky thing on the schedule where so 2 minutes left in the game, I said to the person I was with, I said, hey man, I said it quietly, just between us two as well. Man, if we take off right now, we go to our vehicle, because we have to cross back into. It takes, we'll have the road to ourselves on the way back. Like, taking that I-90, and it's a long drive to get back to that's a long drive just to get back to the border, so it was. You know what it was? It was actually, I did it. The game was so close that it came down to a field goal try by the then punter, because the kicker was Zendejas. He was a little older, if I remember correctly. My memory is serving me correctly, Coach. And Zendejas was going to try a 50-plus yarder to win the game, or at least tie the game. And I said to the person, "Let's go." I'm with, right? We go. We ran out of the stadium. As in, like, once we left the stadium, you don't want to cause trouble by running out of it. You don't run out of a stadium. This is pre 2001. Okay, so as we left the grounds, like the actual building, we sprinted to the vehicle. Okay. And what was I gonna say was, yeah. And I actually, the funniest thing is I actually got stopped by some female fan. I don't know what was going on. I gotta go, Joe. Joe, gotta go. Sorry, gotta run for it. Whatever. I don't know the person's name. I just call it Joe just for fun. And I just said, "Oh, I gotta go." It just kept running to my vehicle. The other person I was with too. We both ran, sprinted in our car. Jumped in the vehicle. I started up the vehicle. And boom, we're gone. Highway. I mean, the road to out of the parking lot. The road to get to the I-90. You gotta get back to Buffalo. Like I said, Coach. Oh, it was ours. It was like our highway. It was like, oh, okay, it's our highway. We get to the border. And yeah, to this day, I'm like, yeah, I would have been. Yeah, I didn't. Being that it was a Sunday night game, I didn't want to be. Yeah, I didn't want it to be. I didn't want to be like. Yeah, I didn't want to be. I wanted to be Plus, you got to drive back to your wherever. Just saying the example, if you're from Ontario, you are still after the border. You don't want to be behind a lot of people, and I didn't want to be like home at 3:30 in the morning or whatever. You know what I mean? So, anyways, so there's a lot of people that would, but it wasn't a noticeable crowd of people. Like, if the game was, we don't know if the game wasn't so close that how many. When it just said, they're down. If the Cleveland Browns are down by 20 points, like, yeah, they're gonna leave. There's gonna be a lot of people leaving. It's like it's not a big deal. It's like it happens, like. But kudos to the Cleveland Brown fans that stuck around. It's, you don't want to miss a good game. Well, in the sense too that it's like, yeah, okay. I felt like I got that about notes too, Coach. Where it's like, I also said, like, I don't know, Cleveland. I think you should get a dome, because the owners might just like, I don't want to stick around here anymore. But maybe they'll do what they did last time. Is maybe you don't. I don't know. It's a tough one. This. When you look at the like, there's still Cincinnati, and then like St. Louis has a dome, and Kansas City would be an easy move if things don't go the way they wanted to in Kansas City. Say the owners of the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, no, we want a dome. We just want a dome. We want a dome. You have one in St. Louis, just down same state in Missouri. You have a dome, and we want a dome. Kansas City may not be a big enough market to could afford to have a dome. Like, support their dome on their own. And you couldn't have enough fans that say, no, we can't do this. We just can't do this. For like a couple of games a season, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll just move to St. Louis. I said that the other pregame too. Now it's like as if the the Cleveland Brown fans are well aware collectively, saying, well, we're fine without a dome. See, we proved it. We're 2-8. The chance of making the postseason is so slim, but do you see how the fans stayed? Majority, I would say 90 plus percentage of the fans stayed, even though it was out of nowhere. It felt like that. It started snowing, it's cold, and it's like. They're like, okay, but it's, once again, folks, there's a city called Columbus, Ohio, and they could pretty well go, we'll build you that dome, and the Columbus Browns, I know most people would say, they're not going to use the name Browns. Yeah, they're not going to use the name. Art Modell then said, you know what? Use Cleveland. You can have the name. If you ever get a franchise, again, you can have the name Browns. He doesn't need the problems of his resentment that because he moved, because Baltimore. Like, of all the things, too, isn't it weird, Coach, that Baltimore was willing to. City of Baltimore was willing to build a stadium. At the time, a stadium would suffice. But now it's like, a stadium is not going to suffice nowadays. You have to find an owner that's like, in a sense, like, well, I don't care if it's a dome anymore. And that was the Pagulas convinced, like, oh, well, here's We don't have a dome. We don't have plans for a dome, but there's a stadium being built, so they took it. Okay, fine. Okay, years of negotiations, and bad faith, and why did you buy this team if you were just you might as well let them move to Buffalo? I mean, from Buffalo to Toronto back in the first place, and all that, and I know. A lot of owners would love to move to Toronto just to be different, something different. And yeah, so and then it's like, okay, so your next is your Cincinnati's, it's Columbus Bengals, and they're not as passionate as the Cleveland Brown fans saying, "Hey, don't take our name. We want our name in case we get a team back." And no, once the Bengals leave Cincinnati, that's pretty well it. That's it. It's the either. That's pretty well it. It doesn't have the same affiliation as the name Browns, because Bengals is a generic thing. There's how many people of sports teams have Bengals as their mascot, team mascot, as they say. Uh, and well, and the St. Louis. When I said the St. Louis Browns earlier in the other previous, your St. Louis Browns was the baseball team, and that was usually the stocking colors. It's not, it's not because, you're looking at back in the day, when you were the player coach in the team. Say if the team was called the Arizona Browns or the New Mexico Browns, whatever city in New Mexico or whatever city in that semi-pro league you played in. Now Brown is like, okay, they named it after Coach Coyote because he had brown fur. Coach is going, where are you going with this things? And he goes, yeah, you're correct, Coach. Where am I going with this? Yeah, where am I going with this? But the point being is that, you just never know. You just never know. The changing world have going from just wanting a stadium to no, we want a dome stadium. You don't know. Don't know. Is it fair to hold the city, as they say, like, oh, give us what we want or we move? I don't. It's not a public trust like the Green Bay Packers. That's a different category, the Green Bay Packers, because the NFL will not allow community-owned teams, because look what Green Bay can do. Green Bay can just go meh to the NFL, as in like, no, we don't want no new stadium. We don't want no fancy schmancy stuff. And it's just, yeah. I'm not gonna get into that whole thing where, because there was a time when the Green Bay Packers played 4 games in Milwaukee and then 4 games in Green Bay, and then they said, they just moved it to Green Bay full time, and yeah, there's just no, and they don't even have average. It's still called Lambeau Field, even though in this day and age, it's amazing that it's not some sponsor that owns put their name on it. Okay, so well, I did put that down. It says Cleveland is not mathematically out of playoff contention. There's a point of a combination of Cleveland Brown losing and playoff contending teams winning, which is pretty well the entire AFC. But depending on how the real on the bubble is, and I can say teams that are that have a 6-win season so far, or a 7-win season so far. Now, they can, with 6 games remaining, if a combination of Cleveland losing say their next two games. So they lose their next two games, and a team that's seven or seven, like the biggest would be the what's it called, like say like your Los Angeles Clippers, who if they're usually Los Angeles Chargers. I'm getting tired already. I'm already exhausted. Okay, so Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, so Los Angeles Chargers winning games and Cleveland losing games. See, that's one of those teams you're like, well, that's making it just really. That's it. They pretty well. They can't catch up to that team. They can't catch up to that team. So as the weeks go by, more of the losses for Cleveland and wins for the contending teams. It's and then there'll be a chance when Cleveland is mathematically eliminated from the postseason. Now, but coach, it's about time. All right, I gotta get this call. I don't expect phone calls. No phone calls during. I'm not gonna even answer it. I'm busy. That's so embarrassing to have your office and your studio in one, where you have your office and studio in one, and you're both everything. Coach, I apologize for possible personal phone call while we're in session recording. Okay, so Coach, I'm going to go back to the script, Coach. Okay, so Coach, it's now about time we get into the subject of Pittsburgh Steelers and how they actually lost the game for themselves on that, unnecessary, undisciplined penalties, weird decision making, like using Justin Fields at the most, not like using. Okay, I'm gonna just hold the script there because those are just like more like script notes and all that, and like it wasn't like it's fourth and less than a yard, and you're using Justin Fields to, because he is a good young person that can run the ball, and you don't want your starter like Russell Wilson to get hurt scrambling for a yard, if whatever. And I mean, it was just the weirdest call. I just didn't understand it. Here now, remember folks, I'm saying to Coach, to the people out there, that Sports News Review, even though this is the post game of the Pittsburgh and Cleveland, we are Buffalo Bills live stream watch party. And do I want Pittsburgh to win? Well, as far as this post game goes, it's not about wanting a team to win over the other team based on, in competition with the Buffalo Bills for home field, a chance to play at home field during the playoffs. It's about being, just objective, and just pointing out that what I observed watching this game, neutral. Like both Coach Coyote and I were both neutral on, and we were just watching the game. We're just noting. Now the thing was, I put down there, whose idea was it that Justin Fields come off the bench and throw it downfield? Now, do we say is it Mike Tomlin, or was it the offensive coordinator? Was it head coach Mike Tomlin, or was it the offensive coordinator Arthur Smith's idea? Now, it doesn't matter whose idea it was, because the thing was, and Coach will back me up on this one, saying, yeah, that's the way it is with your head coach, is didn't matter whose idea was to do that play. It's a matter of like who gave it the. That is a huge decision where that one can't just be an offensive coordinator going, I'm going to make this call on my own. That one needs approval of the head coach on such a. It's just not like it's like 2nd and 6 and you're, and you go like the offensive coordinator, that's Arthur Smith, talking in the headset and going, we're gonna pass on this one, and we're not gonna. And Mike Tomlin doesn't interject, doesn't say anything. Okay, so that's if he's going so fast. He's only got so much time to say yes or no, yay or nay to that play. No, but this is a huge decision that was made. Now, it doesn't matter if it was the offensive coordinator of Arthur Smith saying, "Hey, let's use Justin Fields and throw it downfield on throw everybody for a curve," because they're gonna think that was my thinking. Saying, well, Mike Tomlin gets the blame on that one. That's just the way it goes. You want to be Mike Tomlin he's a grown man. He's been a head coach for a very long time. Very successful head coach for a very long time. He knows it's on him. Even though it's like, it wasn't really I got some bad advice. You cannot do that. No, doesn't work that way. It's like, wait a minute. You can't throw your offensive coordinator, as the old proverbial, under the bus. No, it's they have 3 or 4 suggestions. Maybe sometimes you went with the one that you, even if that's like, I really, let's pretend, coach. Let's just pretend this. Like I'm the offensive coordinator because I'm talking from way up there. But Arthur Smith is on the field level kind of coordinator. Anyways, so I'm talking in the booth, and I'm talking to Coach Coyote's earpiece, going, "Hey, let's use XYZ player and our backup and throw it down. This play that he throws it downfield." And Coach Coyote, right here, is the one that's going to have to say, yay or nay to that. Because it's a huge decision here. This is a big decision. And this one needs the head coach's approval to do such a dramatic change like that in what's going down in the game. So, Coach Coyote, standing behind the microphone, in this made-up scenario, decides to go, "Oh, okay, we'll go with the run play." Now, Coach, I know you're going to say and back me up on this one and say, yes, it's true. I can't, this is Coach Coyote saying, I can't throw me, like the offensive coordinator, after the gate go, "Oh, I got some bad advice." I'd be like, "Bah, who would want to be an offensive coordinator if your coach is going to throw you?" It's their, you can't, like a smart owner would even, like a very intelligent owner would even say, wait a minute, a general manager would say, both owner and general manager would say, wait a minute, you are what they call in football terms the on-field general. you have the final say. It's like, what I mean? You can't just throw someone under you. I got bad. Yes, but that was the whole point of being a head coach. Is you have to make that decision at the time, and you get the glory, and it comes with the pitfalls of like, it didn't work out like it just did the other day. So either Mike Tomlin gets this glory, like now, Mike Tomlin could say after the game and say, "Oh, on that third success and that play that was successful, that really wasn't. Oh, that was Arthur Smith's decision to make. I mean, and I gave it the green light, as they say, and that's why we hired Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator, and that's what a good coach would do. Not, oh, well, I got some bad advice, and no, I probably didn't like it. Well, if you didn't like it, you didn't feel good about it. You didn't. The coach had the decision. Now, I don't remember hearing any post conference and Mike Tomlin saying that. I don't think he did. There's no way I would think that Mike Tomlin would do that. There's no way. He's too professional. It doesn't work that way in my books. I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think. He would not throw any of his coaches under the quote-unquote bus. And the whole point is Arthur Smith will be a coach again in the NFL. And he's going to learn the same thing in life. Like, hey, you can't... When I'm coach again, I know Arthur Smith will be a head coach again in the NFL. And I can see... I see it someday. And this is the same advice goes to him in life, and everybody's probably told him, like, you really could lose the locker room if you start blaming your as you call it, subordinates, people lower under the rank of management than you, coordinators, and saying, oh, it was their decision. No, I mean, it was their idea. I got bad advice. No, it doesn't work that way. So I just want to explain it out there, Coach, to people out there. That, like, there's a lot of things that go on. Okay, so, well, like I said, Coach, the bottom line was the Pittsburgh really should have won that game. But that's the game. I am definitely not going to start going off about, like, the weather or this and that. But at a post game, yeah, it was probably the weather to help keep the game closer. Russell Wilson, when it got his... He could have just got his groove, and first there was just some really bad, I don't know, just Pittsburgh's is Mike Tomlin on the field when your team is doing some just like silly penalties, undisciplined penalties, and it's like, no, I'm not worried about in this kind of situation. Whatever undisciplined penalties Cleveland does, that's Cleveland. They're it's their own thing. But when you're Pittsburgh and it doesn't matter. It's about the record. I'm saying, Coach, is that when you're a team with a much better record, you have to be more disciplined. Because there was you just threw all that coaching, just throw it out, just based on some emotional, and that's why for me anyways, I've never been a coach. Like, I've never been I'll say, like, American football coach. Or even a Canadian football coach. Like, I mean, like, even, like, some minor league or anything like that. But, a team's discipline reflects on the head coaching. And it's odd. It's not fair. Does Mike Tomlin want his team to be undisciplined? No. But... is he on the field at the time? No. But he does. He is, like, you put him up to... You could put up your coach to a spot where it's like, I have to sit you out for a bit, because or else it's like, it pains. It says, like, the old expression of, it pains me to have to sit you out a play or two to calm you down, to make sure that the player is not going to do another undisciplined thing. And that's why I always say about that, Coach, and I know probably in the locker room back in the day, you probably said the same thing. You might back me up on this and say, get all that rivalry stuff. Don't. That's for the fan. I'm not saying it's that you can't let emotion get into the game when you're the actual players of the game. Like whoever's playing in that game. It doesn't matter what sport it is. And when you get to a level of professional sports like that, it doesn't matter baseball, hockey, ice hockey, basketball, soccer, and of course football we're talking about. You as a player don't get emotional wrapped up in these rivalries. Just don't. It's not worth it. Just play the game. Play the game. Yeah, there was some really sour grapes on some of the, which, oddly enough, Coach, I just thumbing through these articles and looking up and that, and you got one of those side things that says that fruit is getting a little sweet. So actually, it's actually better to get some sour grapes these days than it is to get fruit that's too sweet. It's getting to a point where we're getting too much sugar in our fruit. I know it's a post game, Pittsburgh, Steelers, Cleveland Browns, but you think like back, like I've started to notice that, Coach. Like back in the day, it used to be like, oh, give someone an orange, like especially if it's a soccer. Oh, give the players, hey, give them. They should eat some oranges just to kind of get some energy, like some energy, because there's a little bit of sugar in the. But now, it's too much sugar in it, and it's like, oh shoot, I guess you really don't need that much, and that's what Gatorade was all about. It's like to control the amount of sugar that's in a product, So anyways, well, that's just neither here nor there, but I just found it interesting that we're nowadays we're getting fruit that's too much sugar. You think it was really good, but better off now. It's like you're better off having the some salary on the sideline. It's just you can control the amount of sugar a person eats. I guess with my health and it's like. I'm just horrible with my health, Coach, and yeah, it's starting to show. Yeah. But anyways, with all that, I hopefully I addressed all those things I said in the pre-game to the post-game that, covered everything I said from stadiums, franchises, undisciplined penalty. I hope I covered it all, and I kind of was harsh on it was a good game. I remember. Okay, I'll just leave it at this one because this one I remember too is saying but what are we really watching? If it's 2-18, even if Cleveland wins, and I didn't think about saying close game, but I didn't say that, but I did say if Cleveland wins, but what are we actually watching? Like a Cleveland team that wins its game. And it is such that we can only have one game on, and that's it. And it's like if there was another game on TV, and it was like between two teams that were so evenly matched in the standings. And it really mattered to which team won because the playoff chances would, one game between these two teams that are really evenly matched in the standings, close in for the wild card position right at this moment, in the way the game is going, that one is going to their playoff, especially if the interconference, one team goes high and the other team kind of drops a bit, and that's just in one game, and that's probably the game I would have watched, but as far as as actual significance of the game, the significance of this game that Cleveland won is that they've magically kept whatever postseason chances still there. albeit very, very slim, even slimmer than Coach. You're still in good shape after all those years. I mean, you're not. I understand you're not jacked up like back in the day when you're the back in the '80s when you're the player coach days. I mean, that was you were really like as I say, buff, buff in those days. But I know you can't. But you've managed to not get obese. You've kept yourself. I know coach is saying, hey, and this isn't about me. I mean, you're embarrassed. Coach can turn red like ketchup barbecue on the wall there. He's embarrassed. Don't embarrass. Don't make coach blush. Sorry, coach. Okay, so with all that, okay. Oh, I'm gonna say over it. We'll be both. Well, I'm saying that Monday night we'll do another pregame, and I'm not exactly who's playing Monday night, but we'll hope to see you Monday night on the pregame with Coach Coyote. But until then, it's both Coach Coyote and I saying over and out.